Good morning, people. Uh, this morning I'm just talking about the Iran conflict that's seemed to be coming about. Let's pray that it don't happen. Let's pray that they come to some kind of resolution before it happens. Let's stay in prayer. Um, I've been in the war zone before. I've been. I was in the Desert Shield, Desert Storm. And people think because you don't fire a weapon when you're in war, that you're not really affected. And that's not true. I was communication. I was on duty when the first Scud hit. It flipped our communication vehicle over. So let me tell you about when you're in war and you don't fire your weapon. It flipped my communication vehicle over. At the time, we had some reservists that was there with us. And because a Scud had been launched, we had to go into Mach 4. Mach 4 is when you put on all your chemical equipment. You put on a mask. You put on a suit that's made almost out of like quilt material just to protect you. You cover yourself completely. And we had to stay like that until the chemical team can go out in the atmosphere and make sure no chemicals was in the Scud and was in the atmosphere. So before we even left the United States going to Saudi Arabia, we had a briefing. And in the briefing, we saw where he used chemicals. Hussein used chemicals on his own people to make sure that these chemicals was going to do what they was going to do. So if he killed his own people, were we fearful that he would use chemicals on us? Yes. And because you're going to war, because you're in the military, do not mean that takes your emotions away, that you are not afraid. We was afraid. We were afraid. You leaving your family. You going to unknown land. And you don't know if you're coming back. And the reality is, if you going to war, somebody is coming back in a body bag. We don't want it to happen. We most certainly don't want it to happen, but it happens. And whether they come back in a body bag due to the war, natural causes happen, even when you're in war. And then demons take over some people, even when you're in war. And they relieve themselves of the demons. And the sad thing about that is when you come from war, you have to fight. When you come back home, if you make it back home, you have to fight for assistance. You have to prove that you have PTSD. You have to prove that you're depressed. You have to prove that you have anxiety. Yet and still, something can happen to you here in the United States that's tragic. And you can receive PTSD. But you have to prove that when you was in a war zone, when you was running, when you was fearful, when you was on duty, when the first Scud hit, and you had to notify everybody under you I was at headquarters. When Intel give me some information, I had to pass it down. I had a top secret clearance. I could talk to anybody. Top secret clearance. I can talk to anybody. I can receive all the information. They can tell me anything. But yet and still, when you leave the war zone and you come back home, you have to you get the opportunity to apply for help. And then you have someone barely out of school that say, you okay. You don't need any help. And then you fight and you fight and you fight to prove that you do need help. And a lot of people just give up. You just stop. I have PTSD. I have depression. I have anxiety. And all of it is paid out of my civilian insurance. Not by VA. I have service connected that I go to VA for. But the mental help that I need, I do not receive from VA. And I'm in this group I'm in this veterans group, and almost on a daily basis you see what people saying, I've been fighting for 15 years, I've been fighting for 20 years, and I finally was approved for my PTSD. See, when you're in time of war, if somebody is physically injured that you can see, you get a Purple Heart. And they deserve that Purple Heart. They do. But when you are mentally injured, you get shunned by society. And of course, PTSD come in different levels, depression, different levels, anxiety, different levels. And a lot of times you cannot vocal what you're going through. It's been so many times that I had to just walk away from somebody, and they really didn't know what was going on. The thing is, when anxiety hits you, you're just trying to breathe. You're just trying to get through it. And everybody don't understand that. Sometimes you just need that buddy that understands what you're going through. Because you could sit and you could talk to people all day long, but unless they know what you're going through, it don't matter. It don't matter to them. And people say insensitive things, not purposely, but they say them. Like, ooh, I know you glad you're not headed to war. I know you're glad you out the military now. Already been to war. What you mean? What you mean? I'm still fighting. I already been to war, and I'm still fighting. I'm fighting to live. People don't get it. They don't get it. I came from war, got a job, and now retired. And this what is come. And this when it comes to when people say, "I wish I was in your shoes." Okay. You have a house, you have a car, you retired. You can get up and do anything you want to do every day. You don't have to go punch a clock. You can leave home whenever you want. You can travel whenever you want. That's what people say when they say, "I wish I was in your shoes." But they don't see when you have to open your door and step outside. And you step outside, you're still gasping for air because you're trying to breathe. The anxiety have taken over. They don't see this when they having a good night's sleep. You up at 2 and 3 in the morning. Trying to keep the demons away. When the PTSD hits, and you don't have that person to talk to, sometimes you just need that buddy. You need that buddy that been through what you've been through. And the thing is, you can sit with your buddy and you can talk to them for about an hour and never mention nothing about the war. But it's the most comforting feeling, because you with somebody that been through what you've been through and they understand. And I know people invite you over, "Hey, come over, spend time with me." And you go over to their house and you sitting up uncomfortable because you at their house. You can't put your feet on their sofa. You can't just get up and go get a drink of water at the refrigerator. You can't do that. So you'd rather be at your home and be comfortable. But then you don't invite people over to your home where you're comfortable at, because they're invading the space. That they're invading that space that you need. And you go through all the drills they tell you when you're having a major panic attack, even though you're under medication. Medication don't stop it. It may help it, but it don't stop it. So you touch something. You just touch something to make sure that you can feel. You said something. You breathe. Because you may not have been breathing all this time. And all this come from serving your country. Serving your country. You volunteered to do it. And somebody have to be in those positions. But the thing is, the job you work is a volunteer job. You volunteered to accept that job. And you can walk off that job any day you want to. You can walk off that job. Now, it may affect your livelihood, but it's a volunteer job. At this point in time, the military is a volunteer job. But you're under contract. So even when it get too hard for you, you can't walk off. You have to wait till that contract is up. But in time of war, if your contract is up, they can extend your stay, extend your contract, because they need you. And by extending your contract, they might not have to do the draft and pull you, who is not in the military. You know, the reality is we looking to go to war. We're going to pray there is a resolution before we get to that point. But these people, Iran is ready for war. They have raised the red flag. They are ready for war. And being real, just reality, we know everybody's not going to come back. Everybody's not going to come back the way they went. Some people, some military personnel going to come back in a body bag. And some going to come back mentally challenged. It's sad, but that's reality. That's reality. We hate for it to happen. Like I said, you don't have to fire a weapon to be affected. I was in a quartermaster unit. We would support. My unit was up front, supporting the Marines. I was in garrison. Garrison is you in the back. I was working communication, receiving all the intel, everything that was going on, I received. And then I had to pass it down. Yes, my name, my rank is on all that paperwork from the Gulf War, from Desert Shield, Desert Storm. From Desert Shield, Desert Storm. My name is on all that paperwork. From the beginning to the end. My communication vehicle flipped over. But the government said, we don't think that came your depression, your anxiety, your PTSD came from being in a war zone. I had to fight for years for them to say that they believed it. Then when they believe it, they believe that you have PTSD. But I can't get help through the Veteran Affairs. I have to get help through my civilian. So let's pray this war don't happen. But if it do happen, support your military personnel as much as you can. All scars cannot be seen. A lot of scars are worn inside the head. So, I'm praying to God that this war don't happen. And of course, politics in itself is depressing to me, especially when, and I don't know it to be true, but what I heard, and I can, you almost can believe it, when Trump have been impeached. And from what I heard, and I did not read this, but if you know the true answer, then you can please put in the comments. Say, in time of war, the president can't go on trial. And it would be sad to think that someone is starting a war to save themselves. All the bases around the country on high alert. All the bases around the world, I should say, are on high alert. We already have lost some soldiers. Condolences to their families. Y'all, let's pray. Let's just come together and pray as a whole. Can we just come together and pray as a whole? Pray that this war don't happen. Pray that our soldiers, our troops, pray that all branches come back home. And regardless of what branch of military someone is in, we all work together. We all work together. And ever since they have came up with this Iran thing, I'm telling you, my anxiety is through the roof. It's carrying me back in time. When I see the soldiers in their uniforms with their weapons, getting on the plane, sitting on the plane. I did that. I was there. I saw that. I felt the heat. When you couldn't sleep, you be on duty. You get off duty. but you still can't sleep because you know where you are. You're in a war zone. And at any time, any moment, you can be attacked. Let's pray, y'all. Let's pray. Let's pray that this war don't happen. And just be there for your loved ones. Be there for your loved ones when they do come back home. Even if they come back home before a war, the anxiety can set in. The depression can set in. All wounds are not visible. All wounds are not visible. Thank y'all for listening to me. Thank y'all for listening to me rant. I needed that this morning. I always need a buddy, but sometimes I just need to get it out. And this morning, I just need to get it out. Thank y'all so much. Let's pray this war don't happen. But let's support our troops. Let's support our troops. We probably need to put the yellow ribbons back up. Bring the boys home. Free the pain. Ode to free the pain. Bring the boys home. But of course, now when we said boys, we were talking about males and females. We talking about bring our troops home. Bring them home. You know. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all listening. Just me going through my rant this morning helped me to get through this morning. I don't know. We're just going to leave it like that. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. I really do. And I hope y'all have a great day. A wonderful day. Because our military personnel fight hard for us to live the life we live. So let's support them. And I'm serious. Maybe we need to bring that yellow ribbon back. Bring that yellow ribbon wrap back. Tie it around the trees. Put it on your porch. Bring the boys home. Which means bring everybody home. Right. I love you all. Y'all have a wonderful day. Talk to you all later.